The University of Sydney is home to one of the most culturally and ethically diverse sites in Australia, harbouring the education and development of tens of thousands of students. However, the majority of these students are stuck on transitory paths, leading them between class to class and in and out of uni. By design, the university is heavily populated with liminal spaces, which don't allow students the opportunity to enjoy a moment of pause and appreciate the university's grand architecture, luscious gardens, and hidden gems that otherwise can go unnoticed and unappreciated. Seasonal Peep Show aims to formulate a blueprint for what Deal outlines as a good social space, allowing the opportunity to socialize and engage in optional activities that transitional spaces cannot offer.
We began our design through a literary review into Giel's analysis of good and bad spaces. He found that in order to improve the public spaces, there was an inherent need for an increase in optional activities, but in particular, chance interactions.
He simply puts a good space as one that fits within 3 categories. Due to the fact that each category comes with its different demands upon the physical environment, they can vary in necessity of presence. The requirements include necessary activities, optional activities, and social activities. Necessary activities include those that are more or less mandatory, such as travelling between class, the train station, or residencies. Optional activities are participated in if there is a wish to do so and if time and place make it possible. This category includes activities such as taking a walk to get a breath of fresh air, standing around enjoying sights, or sitting and sunbathing. The final category, resultant or social activities, come as a direct result of the other 2 forms of activities. If an area prompts people to stop and enjoy an area, it has a higher chance of a resultant activity, which includes things like conversation and meeting people. In response to the words of Jan Giel, we undertook a broad analysis of the university's public spaces. We found that there is an overprovision of transitional spaces, particularly in the heart of the university. Transitional spaces do not accommodate for inhabitation and hence leave said spaces void of interaction. We also did some broader research into the site, looking at prevailing winds and the path of the sun at various key dates, such as both solstices and the equinoxes.
Following the broader site analysis, we chose to focus on the solutions for a single space that could be then used as a case study for others within the university. Our site was chosen based on its highly transitional properties. This can be seen through our heat map showing auditory patterns associated with the movement of individuals. We also reviewed the various demographics that are most likely to use the space, as well as the provision of seating in close proximity to the space.
Our site primarily acts as a liminal zone between the Science Alley and Quadrangle. It offers 3 primary paths connecting the 2 spaces. These paths break through a beautifully designed garden with little to no seating or areas to pause and briefly inhabit the surrounding scenery. Through initial observation, we concluded that this site had large potential to become a zone of optional activities, allowing social interactions and moments of pause in what is now just a transitional space.
We hence came to the conclusion from our research that individuals currently using the space are often too fixated, stressed, or in a rush to stop, inhabit, and enjoy. We thought it would be most relevant, as such, to create pause moments in order to get people to slow down and contemplate inhabiting these spaces, which they would usually move through almost unaware of their surroundings, fully unappreciating said spaces. We then thought about ways in which we could slow down the movement of transitional spaces while making the spaces themselves more accommodating for inhabitation. Given the demographic of the site being predominantly university students, we thought it would be most effective to create pause moments through a spark of curiosity that creates a sense of intrigue, encouraging individuals to contemplate inhabiting the space. We aim to achieve this curiosity in 3 distinct ways: through change, restriction, and illusion, all used in the storytelling of the 6 native First Nations seasons. Seasonality is introduced as a way of alluding to the time passing in a further attempt to slow the movement down in the space and get people to pause. Our method of storytelling takes the form of small moments realized through the framing of key First Nations seasonal symbols. We designed the layout of the park to suit the format of storytelling, creating a single path that brings people on a journey through the seasons, using physical barriers to slow and better communicate First Nations values. Simultaneously, we maintain the efficiency of the space through the implementation of a transitional zone around the perimeter of the garden. Given the concept of our project being so closely tied to First Nations land and people, we thought it would be fitting to work within the Wingara design principles. This is expressed through the representation of First Nations seasonal values, however primarily through our choice of materiality, regarding elements such as rusted metals, sandstone pathways, and timber seating.
Along our primary path, we decided to include mirrors into our framing mechanisms, warping the depiction of seasonal iconography as you enter the path. These mirrors not only strike initial intrigue and curiosity, but also urges visitors to indirectly engage with and witness the seasonal phenomena existing within the garden spaces. In relation to Jan Gill's framework, we have offered and designed a blueprint converting a transitional space into what Gill outlines as a good public space. Through enticing curiosity and offering optional activities, we have allowed this liminal space to become a site of social inhabitants and cultural value.